Formula One isn't just about speed, it's about innovation, precision, and pushing the boundaries of technology. But not every car design delivers on its promises. Some machines look incredible on paper but fail spectacularly when the lights go out. Today, we're diving into the top 10 most disappointing F1 cars in history. Machines that promised glory, but instead delivered heartbreak. We've covered everything, from legendary teams like Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes, to unexpected flops. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into F1 history. Number 10. Benetton B196, 1996. Benetton was the dominant force in 1994 and 1995, winning back-to-back Drivers' Championships with Michael Schumacher and even clinching the Constructors' title in 1995. Expectations were sky-high for the B196 in 1996, but everything fell apart. The B196 was a direct evolution from the B195 that secured 11 out of 17 races in 1995, achieving its first Constructors' crown. Those at Benetton at that time believed the 96 car was just as good as the all-conquering B195, and Schumacher even said that he reckoned a third world championship was on the cards if he stayed. However, as an evolution of the 95 car, the car was designed based on Schumacher's driving style in mind, which made it impossible for the new drivers of the team, John Alesi and Gerhard Berger, who both moved from Ferrari, to adapt to the car along with reliability problems. The biggest disappointment was not winning a race for the first time since 1988. However, Alesi led in Monaco until he suffered a suspension failure, and Berger led in Germany until his engine failed with 3 laps remaining. This disappointment was high if we compare it with the team's expectations, as Ross Brawn admitted they thought they could win a few races along the championship. Also, this season marked the beginning of Benetton's slow decline before their Renault transition. Could Schumacher have won a third title if he stayed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Number 9. Lotus 100T, 1988. After losing Ayrton Senna to McLaren, Lotus signed reigning world champion Nelson Piquet. There is no reason to expect this was the beginning of the end for such an iconic team, but the chassis was poorly optimized, a step backwards compared to previous Lotus designs. This wasted the potential of the powerful Honda engine, which also powered the iconic McLaren MP4-30. Piquet scored just 3 podiums, the last podiums of the team, before closing at the end of 1994. Number 8. Toyota TF102, 2002. Toyota entered F1 with massive financial backing and spent an entire year testing before debuting in 2002. Their ambitions were massive, but the results didn't match. The team scored points on its debut in the Australian GP, but that was a fortunate result after the race start pileup eliminated most of the field. During the season, the car showed to struggle with mechanical grip and its overcomplicated design. The team struggled to keep up in the development race. It was just able to score points again in the Brazilian GP, which was round 3 of the championship, finishing the tournament just ahead of Arrows, which didn't complete the season. Number 7. Ferrari 642 and 643, 1991. Ferrari entered 1991 with Alain Prost after nearly winning the 1990 championship. The 642 was supposed to continue its progress as Ferrari believed that as McLaren introduced a new V12 engine, Williams got to grips with a semi-automatic gearbox, and Benetton's delayed introduction of its latest car would have the edge over the opposition. However, the team was complacent in its development. Consequently, the 642 was no match for McLaren or Williams at the start of the year, which made Ferrari introduce the 643 as a mid-season upgrade to improve the team's performance. At the same time, the 643 was designed as a mid-season upgrade, failing to win a race in the season and finishing 3rd in the Constructors' Championship way back to be a championship contender, which made Prost publicly criticize the car, calling it a truck, leading to his firing before the season ended. Do you think Prost was right to call out Ferrari? Let us know. Number 6. Williams FW26, 2004. Williams fought with Ferrari and McLaren for the World Championship in the 2003 Walrus Nose FW26, but failed to build on that the following season. The design idea was to remove any interference with the airflow around the front wing around the nose of the car, and Williams believes that doing this would increase downforce and reduce drag. The team accepted that the design was ugly, but the hope was that it would be fast enough for everybody to look at the appearance. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and the extra weight required to beef up the nose to pass the crash test compromised any potential benefits. Along the tournament, the car showed too fragile to sidewinds, leading to slightly unpredictable handling, and as the front was hefty, the car had massive understeer and excessive front tire wear. These problems made Williams way back to be a championship contender and, for the Hungarian Grand Prix, switched back to a more conventional nose, adding 41 points in the last 6 races of the year to the 47 scored across the first 12 races and marked the beginning of the Williams decline that nowadays is trying to recover. Number 5. Mercedes MGP W01, 2010. Expectations were sky high when Mercedes bought out the Brawn GP team after their fairy tale 2009 double championship win. Michael Schumacher returned from retirement paired with Nico Rosberg. Fans expected instant dominance, but the reality was far from it. The reality was an underdeveloped car despite a heavily revised version of the 2009 Brawn GP, which had already fallen behind in development during the 2009 season. Its chassis was not competitive compared to Red Bull and Ferrari, with limited aerodynamic efficiency and a lack of power despite being powered by a powerful Mercedes engine. During the season, the car showed that its race pace was lower than Red Bull, Ferrari, and McLaren. Consequently, it failed to win and obtained 3 podiums from Rosberg. However, this car was a learning curve before Mercedes' hybrid era dominance from 2014 onwards. Number 4. McLaren MP4-30, 2015. The much-hyped McLaren-Honda reunion aimed to replicate the success of the Senna-Prost era. However, this began a painful 3-year journey leading to an expensive separation. Honda joined F1's V6 hybrid engineering a year after its rivals, but was underprepared, struggling for power and reliability. In the same way, McLaren did little to help its new partner, bragging about its size 0 packaging that gave Honda no slack whatsoever as world champion Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button toiled near the back. McLaren claimed that the MP4-30 was an excellent chassis held back by a bad engine. Number 3. Honda RA107, 2007. Jenson Button outscored every other driver over the final 6 races in 2006, prompting talk of a Honda title challenge in 2007. The RA107 turned heads when it was launched, but that was because of its bold Earth livery, which promoted eco-awareness and concealed the fact that it no longer had a title sponsor. On the track, the car was a disaster. He achieved the dreadful combination of dragging on the straights but no downforce in the corners, making driving unpredictable. Honda slumped from 4th to 8th in the championship, and its tally of 6 points was only 2 ahead of its junior team, Super Aguri, which was using the Honda's 2006 car. Number 2. Ferrari F2005, 2005. It was a disaster to follow up one of the most excellent F1 cars of all time with one that shouldn't have won a race. The F2005 ended Michael Schumacher's 5 years of dominance. The disappointment of the F2005 was attributed to Bridgestone's failure to produce a suitable tyre when everyone's rules changed to outlaw race tyre changes. Ferrari and Bridgestone mastered the art of short-stint sprint racing in the early part of the 2000s, and this shift in rule undid all of the hard work. But other rule changes in 2005 also affected Ferrari. New aero rules restricted the diffuser, forcing teams to generate more downforce from its central area. Ferrari's engine and gearbox prevented it from opening up the diffuser as much as it would have liked in 2005, so another key part of the F2004 success was restricted the following season. Number 1. McLaren MP4-18, 2003. Adrian Newey's radical design was worth the wait when it was launched once the 2003 season was already up and running. The design was Newey's first attempt at many of the aerodynamic and packaging characteristics he eventually mastered at Red Bull, but perhaps this McLaren was ahead of its time. The eye-catching tight bodywork around the rear caused reliability problems, meaning that the car could barely complete a lap or two without catching fire. McLaren also struggles to pass some crash tests, forcing it to add weight to the nimble-looking design. While word went out about the car's reliability problems, McLaren was adamant the MP4-18 was a big step up in performance from its predecessor, which in revised form was kipping Kimi Raikkonen in the championship hunt in 2003. But that wasn't the case. The car was slow and unpredictable when driving and suffered massive testing accidents. Newey discovered that this was because of an aerodynamic imbalance which he felt could be solved by a chassis redesign. However, he said he was outvoted in a McLaren senior design personnel meeting who decided the car could work in its original form. The MP4-18 is famous for never racing, but Newey claims it did. McLaren said that the car was the mother of the 2004 MP4-19, but Newey says the new car was the 18 with a different sticker. As he predicted, the design was poor for the first part of 2004, and it was only when he finally got his wish to redesign a mid-season that McLaren found some performance. So there you have it, 10 of the most disappointing F1 cars ever. Which one do you think was the worst? Comment below if you want a second part. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more F1 deep dives.